Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with your daily mortgage rate update, the only place on the web where you guys get to join me live each and every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and talk about what's going on with mortgage rates and pricing. Got a lot to cover for what we got going on this week. Remember, I'm broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget in the comments, give us a hashtag replay. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to smash that like button. Maybe tag an LO friend in the comments. Share this post in a group like Mortgage Loan Officer Network or Brokers Are Better. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to give us a comment. Give us a thumbs up on that little thing down there and click subscribe. And if you want to be notified, you can click the notification bell. So if you're here this morning, say good morning. Let's know that you're here. Remember, you can also sign up for our written email lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com. If you want to have an email to your inbox each and every weekday morning, you can get our text alerts also, www.ratetextalerts.com. Can't beat them. You should join them. $7 a month or $77 a year annual if you want to join annually, and I'll be rolling that out shortly, this week actually. And then also you should go ahead and sign up for the live text reminders that I'm going live. You can do that at hmmr.io/reminder or use the Originator Success link that generated here. Last but not least, although I love talking to you about rates and pricing each and every day, what we really do here at Originator Success is help you get loans from Google and social media. So what my team is trained to do is what they're awesome at. Look at that. You can see pictures behind my head. That's weird. Anyway, there you go. Now it's all gone. Check us out, www.originatorssuccess.com and do that. So let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks, and then we'll jump into the good stuff. I know for the people that watch the replay, you're always like, Hammer, why do you talk so long? And the reason I talk so long is to give all the live people a chance to hop on. You should come on live. So let's say hi to the live folks. Let's see who we got here this morning. Hope you all had a good weekend. Let's see. We got Ms. Megan Lindberg, the first to say hello today, at least showing up on the screen. Good morning, Megan. We got Mr. Ron Siegel. Today is National Apple Pie Day. My mother-in-law, Jean, makes an awesome apple pie. I like apple pie. Ron said, after seeing leg photos on social of the weekend, I'm glad you did not make your living as a leg model. Yeah, they're pretty gross, right? Got some gross stuff going on there. Brandy Brickler, good morning. Mike Morano, buongiorno. How's the ankle? Still broken, my friend. Thank you for asking. Not a lot of pain, though, but I am going to go and see the ortho again today. I'm going to surprise visit him since it's a walk-in clinic, and I have a lot of questions. So anyway, we'll stay on focus. So good morning to Rob Stewart, Chris Perfor. Thank you for the kind words as well. Kyle Mazikas, Kenny Rivard, Kim Mason, Yasmin Martin, Deb Dickinson. Thank you, Yasmin, as well. Colin, Amy, Allison. Great to see all of you here. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's jump in first. Let's take a look at the technicals. We'll get into the good stuff. Mortgage-backed securities currently are up 14 basis points on the day, which is a nice recovery from losing some ground that we saw on Friday. Still very much within the same range. Do you see this range right here? Check out this red line is the 50-day moving average. This purple line, the 200-day moving average. You can see that ever since May 3rd, when we broke above the 200-day moving average, mortgage bonds, they have, see these are called wicks, this thin part that goes above and then falls back down to the thick part, which is called the body. The thick part is the body. Thin part, when it goes up, is the wick. When it comes down the bottom, as makes sense, it's called the tail. So this is the highest that mortgage-backed securities were selling for before they came down and ended the day. So they came up this high, ended the day down here on the red candlestick, on the green candlestick. They started down here, made it up this high, but fell back to earth, ended here below that 200-day moving average. On Wednesday, you could see that we started a little bit higher and then came down on the day. Thursday started down here, came up on the day. Friday, right about there. Let's see if I'm going over to MBS Highway to Berry Service just to see if they show what the rollover was on Friday. Friday, we should have had a bond rollover, but I don't know what the amount was because they don't really, they don't even have the little triangle underneath it anymore. I guess that hasn't been a big deal. So anyway, look at this morning though. You'll see this body, this thick part is above this red line. The red line again is the 50-day moving average. This is a technical resistance level. Mortgage-backed securities, if these are pushing higher, that's better for mortgage rates, okay? If they go lower, that's worse for mortgage rates. That's the opposite of a yield, which we measure the 10-year treasury yield. So here, when this goes down, that's good for mortgage rates. When this goes up, that's bad. So coming back to mortgage-backed securities, you'll see that right now we're at 100.23. This red line is at 100.22. And I think that's basically where you're going to see us end the day today. I think you'll see mortgage-backed securities test this support level, but I don't think they'll break above it. If they do break above it, it's going to be a very small break like this one here, which really isn't much of anything. Now, today is Monday. The big data comes out this week on Wednesday. So first, let's start with the basic stuff. Let me see what we got going on. Rate sheet should be a little bit better this morning than Friday. Not tremendously better, but a little bit better. Reprice risk on the day is low. Definitely should be a quiet day. There's a couple of Fed speakers out there, but that's it. All eyes are on the inflation data. Everything hinges on Wednesday's data. Now, Wednesday, there's also another data point that's coming out that I haven't even really bothered to talk about because it'll take the backseat to the CPI data, and that is the retail sales data. Now, retail sales, this is a big one because are people out spending money, right? Are they out there spending money? Now, if we see a big hit or a big miss and it somehow plays into, sorry, so easily distracted. And if it plays into the CPI data, we'll see some reaction to that. So Wednesday we get CPI inflation data, also retail sales released at the same time. Expect retail sales to take a back seat, but be referenced for inflation, especially if it's a big hit or miss. Now, let's talk about that inflation data for a minute. Okay, the CPI inflation data that's coming out. Let me pop this over here. Let's pull this up here. All right. So this is the word on the street as far as the inflation data. And that's why my advice is going to be to float them and decide if you want to lock any loans ahead of Wednesday's data. Most loans, I'm suggesting you float into the data. Now, the data comes out at 8:30. Rate sheets come out about generally around 10 a.m. Eastern time, between 10 and 10:30 Eastern time. So we're already going to see that reaction. And let's not forget, last month we saw a strong, overblown reaction to very minorly worse CPI inflation data. I don't understand why it was such an extreme reaction. And that's why, as I say, every time we talk about data, it's not just how the data itself comes out, it's the market's reaction to it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Again, we're 8 minutes in, so we got plenty of time. Now, you look at this giant red candlestick. What this means is that mortgage bonds had been up here in this range, pricing. This was 100.78, then 100.49, 100.45, 100.60, and then they dropped almost 100 basis points in one day. And that was on April 10th when we got the CPI inflation data. After that, we saw a little bit of recovery and then even more worsening. Then it was flat, and we've since seen a bit of a bounce. Now, again, let me make this a little bit smaller so it fits on the screen. All right, there you go. Look at what we've seen since the last CPI inflation report. Looking over here, you could see it was much higher, right? Then it dropped huge with the data. Now, I don't think that we are at risk of seeing a second reaction like this. I think this was a bit of a market pivot. I don't think that we are at risk of seeing anything near as severe again. Doesn't mean it can't happen. And if you have risk-averse loans, if you don't want to risk losing what we've got, well, then by all means, consider locking before the inflation data. Last week, we talked about locking loans that were closing in the next couple of weeks because they wouldn't have any time to recover. We're going to get the data now on Wednesday. So if you've got loans closing next week, we've got a little bit of time for some recovery. But again, If we were to see a negative reaction like we did here, that would be bad. I don't think markets are in a position to create that negative a reaction, but it is always possible, and you have to assess the risk. Now, this article talks about that inflation will offer minimal relief to the Fed, but that's still relief. If we see this, we would see the opportunity maybe for rates to improve a little bit more. We're not going to see a huge difference. And if we go over here to the Mortgage News Daily reference point, using their rates, if you will, we saw rates that were at a month ago that were at 7.5, right? That's where, when we saw the CPI data, things pushed up to 7.5. We spent a lot of time kind of creeping right around that 7.38, 7.5 mark. Just recently, markets have gotten better. We're down to around 7.125 on, again, using this as a reference point, right? That would put us this morning around 7.125. And that would be a really good place to be. If we were to see inflation data that came in surprisingly better than expected, that could push rates down into the sixes again. It's unlikely that it comes in better than expected. What they're expecting, and we'll go over this a little bit more tomorrow, is Consumer Core Price Index. Now, remember, core, you get two numbers, headline and core. The headline number includes everything. The core number takes out food and energy prices because they're considered to be more volatile. That's the one that people are going to reference the most. Now, when you take a look here, April of 2023, the core CPI is compared with, it's projected to rise 3.6%. So that's an annual year over year. While that annual increase would be the smallest in 3 years, that wasn't what I meant to do. Let me fix that. Let me see if I can fix that. Come on. There you go. Okay. While that would be the smallest in 3 years, still running too fast to placate the Fed, who want evidence inflation is slowing consistently. They're not going to talk about rate cuts. It's not going to create some kind of pivot from what we've seen. But if it did come in like this, the smallest annual increase in 3 years, that would absolutely help open the door for possible rate cuts, and we would see markets react to that really well. The overall CPI probably climbed 0.4% for the third straight month as gas prices reach a 6-month high. Core good prices have largely been retreating. Underlying services costs remain elevated and explain why inflation proved stubborn in the first quarter. So part of the difficulty the Fed is in bringing inflation down towards 2% rests with the resilient American consumer. Retail sales in February and March advanced solidly, though economists' projections for April suggest households took a breather. Now, this article can't tell you the accuracy, but according to this article, it gives us a forecast that we're going to see better numbers than what we would expect, and that would help to see rates improve this week. Again, this is just one set of opinions. Who knows how accurate it will be, but that's why the advice is we want to keep our options open. I do think that we could see a positive reaction to the CPI data, and I don't think a negative reaction will be nearly as devastating as it was last month when we lost all this. Mr. Ron Siegel, he says, I had Chat GTP write me 5 headlines from Daniel's report today from mortgage professionals. Oh, that's funny. Did you do that for real? I always love her stuff. Her comments also suggest economic challenges on the horizon. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been watching her YouTube clips. She's on a lot of different things now, and I sense that too. And it look, she's got a lot of things that she's saying for that. So I definitely think that that's all there. But anyway, that puts us in that same spot. Ron said April's consumer price index anticipates slight decline amid economic tensions, insight into potential shifts in consumer costs that could impact mortgage rates. Yeah, I think we could see some mortgage rates improve a little bit. Again, that's why the advice remains to float. By the way, y'all, I'm going to try to go see the surgeon today. I'm scheduled for surgery on Wednesday, but it's after I do the morning stuff. So I'll do my lock advice. I'll do the live video on Wednesday, and then I would head to the hospital at 11 a.m. I'd have surgery at 1 p.m. I'm pretty sure that I'll move forward with it. Has anyone ever had open reduction and internal fixation? It's called ORIF surgery on an ankle or a leg. I am looking at what they want to do is they want to put Here, I'll show you all a picture real quick, and that'll put a clearer thing on it. They want to put a bunch of, they're going to put a plate alongside my break and screw it together so the bone heals. And then they want to put a big ass screw across the fibula and into the tibia here, like this. And it basically pulls this tight around the torus, which is the other bone, the third bone that really forms your ankle. Right. So you have your actual tibia, which is 85% of the weight bearing on your leg is through your tibia. Then you have your fibula, which is for movement and holding it steady. But your ankle gets very weak if this opens up. It's called a syndesmotic break in the ligaments here. When you break the bone, it often tears the ligaments. Now, they have this method, which is the most common method of treating it, which is putting a screw all the way through. The other thing you can do is a method where they actually put sutures in. They drill a hole through the bone. They put these sutures in. So I'm just kind of curious if anyone's ever had any of that. Mike said, in your family, screws and plates are the answer. All right. Have you ever heard of the suture method, this tightrope system that they make? I'm curious about that, but I'm going to go talk to the surgeon today. I know I'm not going to make friends. I have a whole list of questions here. I don't like to just say whatever the doctor thinks. I mean, I did research the doctor. By the way, I'm going to spin this into what we do at Originator Success, helping you with your online presence. I've never met this doctor, right? So, I mean, I get this guy. I was going to just show you, I get a slip of paper that says, when I go to the emergency room, it says, go and visit these guys. It's the big local orthopedic center. And I meet this doctor. And when I meet the doctor, he wants to do surgery. I don't know this guy, right? So I did Google him. I did look for negative reviews. I know his history. I know how long he's been doing medicine. I know where he's worked before he worked here. There's amazing amounts of information that you get when you Google. And people are Googling you too, which is why you need to have really strong online presence. It's what we do for you at Originator Success. Go check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Sign up for a demo with Austin. Let him show you how we can help you to get loans. Unless you're totally broke, and I respect that. I know that a lot of my friends are definitely still struggling through this market, but now is the time to be getting market share. So I went and looked this guy up and did everything. And that's what everyone is doing for you. And it's how we can help you. So Mike, your brother and dad or doctor said no nylon sutures, not strong enough. That's what my doctor said too. And he's been doing it for, Marano, I'm so glad I asked. And thank you for talking about it. I'm sorry, y'all. Anybody that doesn't want to talk about this and you guys bail, I get you. Thank you. I'm just using the show for my own method now, but for this reason, that's exactly what this orthopedist said. He said that he's had problems where they've stretched and they don't really feel, he wasn't for it. So I think I'm going to go with the old screw method. I'm just curious on, how the ligament is fixed afterward and all that kind of a thing. If I had systemic, if I had it opening up afterwards, I could always add them later. Jonathan, I worked in ortho trauma implant business for a long time, did a lot of these surgeries. What? That's so crazy. Yeah, do you like the surgeries with the screws and everything? What are my chances? I mean, again, I play hockey. I'm an active guy. I'm a big guy. I'm 240 pounds, y'all, and I'm not a fat guy. I am fat, but I'm not a super fat guy. Even if I lost weight, 220 is about my bottom weight, without putting on any bulk or mass. I am a dense guy. I do heal well. My bones heal well. I have great calcium, but I just, I want to make sure that I'm comfortable with this and that I'm going to get everything that I think. It sounds like it's a pretty basic kind of scenario. So, that's pretty good on this, but I appreciate you guys chiming up on this. Feel free to reach out to me if you have anything else to say. I do appreciate it, Morano. Appreciate it, McDaniel. Thank you, sirs. Appreciate that insight and the help on this. So, all right, y'all. Well, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the other stuff. Yeah, as far as letting it heal, here's my ice. Modern technology today is awesome. Look at this, man. Got that thing up. Got some ice on it. You don't even have to have ice packs anymore. I just have that circulating. I had something like that 15 years ago when I had my knee blown out and had to have my ACL replaced and everything else. And it just, it's awesome. Just keeps everything cold and comfortable. But I've got all my little gadgets and stuff. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you again for the insight into this. And again, I will have surgery on Wednesday, but I'll be here. I'll be here for y'all. So I mean, again, it's CPI. How could I not be here to talk about the CPI? Said to the doctor, you got to do the surgery after the CPI. No, I didn't say that. I didn't have to. They came in and said it at that point. So, all right, my friends, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.